The Dental Practice Fixers podcast is brought to you by the Maddow Center for Dental Practice Success. To find out how we can help increase the success of your practice, check out maddow.com or call us at 1-800-258-0060.
Hello there, and welcome to the Dental Practice Fixers podcast. I'm Dr. David Maddow, and Rich and I really appreciate you being here. I'll bring Rich in just 1 second, but before I do, I just want to thank you so much for being a friend and a listener. And if you have a second, we really would appreciate some help from you. Simply, if you like what you're hearing, we'd love to have you go to iTunes and give us a nice honest review. If you give us 5 stars on that would be great. But just if you want to give us a comment, a like, a review, whatever you want to do, it helps the show immensely. So we appreciate whatever you do. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring my co-host, Richard Maddow. That's Dr. Richard Maddow into the show. Rich, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. And you don't have to doctor me, but I'll take it. So this is Dr.
Oh, you
Richard
told me to
Maddow.
always call you doctor. That's what you've always said in the past.
Yeah, okay.
Even when we were little kids, I had to call you doctor for some reason. I don't know. I still don't understand that.
Yeah, I want to be called Maestro now.
I thought your nickname was Downtown.
I have a lot of nicknames.
You really do. But anyway, same thing with the last episode. Rich and I are in different locations right now. Rich is in beautiful downtown Baltimore, Maryland, right?
I am still in my home studio.
Beautiful. And I'm here in Salt Lake City, Utah. And we are, so probably, I don't know, roughly 2,000 or 2,500 miles apart, but we sound like we're in the same room due to modern technology here.
I'll tell you something else. I could just drive from my home in about less than 20 minutes. I can be right at the very beginning of I-70 and then just take I-70 all the way out to Utah. But it doesn't go to Salt Lake City, right? But it goes somewhere where I can just take maybe I-15 to Salt Lake City. So
I believe that would be right.
In like two turns, I could be wherever the heck you are.
I'll tell you something. Rich, come at me.
I'm not doing it. I'd rather fly out there. Hey, I'm just going to go on a tiny rant here.
Please.
I cannot stand dealing with irresponsible people.
I love it.
Here's an example.
Wow.
Let's just say that I'll just make a situation up because this happens all the time. You get like a little dent in your car. You take it to the body shop. They look it over. They say, okay, I'm going to send you an email out this afternoon with your estimate. Does that email ever show up? No. And then like a day or two later, you don't want to be like the pain in the ass because that's, the worst thing to be. And then you have to start hocking the person. And then you feel like you're being annoying to them when meanwhile, if they had been responsible in the first place, you wouldn't have had to go through this.
Well, that's quite a rant. But now tell me what happened. What's the story? Did you bash your car up or something?
I'm not commenting.
What did you do? You didn't tell me you hit your car again.
I'm just saying this is a rant. I'm not saying I did anything.
Okay, wait a minute. I'm going to guess. You were in your parking garage at your home, and you backed into a pole. That's my guess.
I'm not commenting on that. I'm just fed up with irresponsible people. I'm going to say one more thing, that if that is true, which I'm not sure, as you're not commenting, it's not the first time. Why don't you have them remove that damn pole or relocate the pole or give you a new spot or something? It's so funny. In my parking garage, the poles and like the walls all have like a million dents and like black spots on them where you can see people rubbed up against them. It's a disaster down there.
What's the story? Why do you keep hitting walls and poles?
I didn't hit a wall and pole. It was an example. I'm just ranting on irresponsible people.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. We won't take this any further then.
Let's put it this way. When you tell a car insurance company you live in my building, they won't give you insurance. That's how bad it is here.
Or they double the premium. Or treble, maybe treble them.
There's like a poll clause.
Oh my God! Well, you'll tell me more of the story offline.
I'm not commenting.
Okay.
So hey, we have a great question today. Thanks so much for sending this in. Just like last time, we're not going to tell this doctor's name because they asked us not to. So if you want to send in a question and you're fearful that we're going to out you in front of all of our listeners across the world, just put name withheld, or, if we're not sure, we'll withhold your name. We want to protect anybody's privacy. But as usual, I think a lot of these questions are so universal that they could apply to anyone, anywhere. So what do you say? Get down to it.
I can't wait to hear it.
Okay. Did we say that this is episode 5? I can't remember if we established that or not.
We didn't say it. I said
Okay, good. Well, I'm going to say it now, too. It's episode 5 of season 2. Just look at my notes. I want to make sure everything's in place.
Yeah, we said that. We said it.
Or as they say...
But, I might not have said season 2. So to be very clear, it's season 2, episode 5.
We're just doing a little housekeeping here.
Bathrooms are to the right.
I'll tell you something. When we speak at seminars all over the place, I don't like it when the person introducing us comes up and says, we have a little housekeeping first. Why don't they just say, this is how you get your credits. This is, there's not going to be a break. Why do you have to say we have a little housekeeping?
Yeah, turn off all cell phones.
Exactly.
I know.
It's not housekeeping.
I know.
That's kind of an insider's term, housekeeping.
We're going to put that to rest.
Please.
Next time somebody does it, we're going to kick them off stage.
Right off stage. Okay, here's our question. Here's our question for today. It says, I hired a dental consultant, then in parentheses, not you guys. I love it when there's something in parentheses in the question. Last episode's question had some parentheses too, I think. Okay. I hired a dental consultant, parentheses, not you guys. And shouldn't the she be a giveaway? Well, whatever. No, actually, most of our coaches are she's. So I hired a dental consultant, starting for the third time. I hired a dental consultant, parentheses, not you guys. And she suggested that my cash flow would improve and overhead would go down if I dropped 2 of my PPOs. So I listened and now have lost many patients. We are not busy anymore. What should I do? And what do we tell people who call and ask if we are in their network? Signed, name withheld.
When you were reading the question and you the parentheses and the little inside jokes, why did I feel like we're like drive time DJs?
I'm not sure if that's a compliment or an insult.
Maybe not a compliment. We're just killing this one, but it's a great question. I'm gonna say that number one, I don't think enough information was given on this either.
Well, okay, but let's take it for what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know where you're getting.
Go ahead.
Like, did the consultant actually do an analysis and say, I've determined that you should drop these 2 PPOs, or they just come in and say, hey, let's drop a few PPOs?
The latter is my guess. But what I meant was, this doctor is saying, was the doctor he or she? Did you indicate that? I can't remember.
I didn't indicate it. The doctor was a she. We'll say that.
Okay, so the doctor was a she.
I'm assuming by name. I mean, you never know, but
yeah. Okay. So she could be not as busy, but still her bottom line could be better because, last thing I would want is to be seeing patients all day long and working my butt off and they're actually draining the practice and causing a negative cash flow or not making any money. So she might have the feeling of not being as busy, but maybe it's better. I don't know the answer to this, but maybe it's better for the practice. That's why I'm saying there's really not enough information.
I'm going to interpret and say that if that were the case, she probably wouldn't have written in. I think if she were less busy and more profitable, then she wouldn't have had the need to ask this question. Just kind of an assumption, but I think that's true.
Yeah, but I think, unfortunately, from our experience also, a lot of doctors feel that the busier they are, the more patients, the more hustle bustle during the day, the more successful they are, even if they're not making money from the patients. So I'm not sure. I don't know the answer, but let's assume that that maybe she's not as busy and she's not making as much money. Let's go into that assumption then.
Right. I think it's kind of one of those things. Nobody likes PPOs, and so they drop them, and then their practice goes downhill. So, it's not something you can just do randomly. You've got to really figure out if that's the best move for you. And I'm also thinking, again, just reading into the question, that sure, you can drop PPOs, but it has to be done carefully and cautiously and correctly. For example, let's say that you decide to drop your worst PPO. You don't just drop it and say, I'm no longer in this PPO. You do it over a period of time. Say maybe in 9 months, I'm going to drop this PPO. And then as each patient on the PPO comes in, talk to them and let them know what's going on and let them know that they're welcome to stay in your practice and that we figured out that, you can join our membership plan, or this is a good way that we can help you even if you no longer have this crappy, I hesitate to call it insurance because it's crappy insurance, but if you no longer have this insurance, don't just drop it and hope for the best. Do it strategically and start with your worst one and then do it at a time where you'd be able to at least speak to each patient personally and let them know what's going on and let them know if they go to some crap office that they're not going to get the same level of care. Don't just drop it and hope for the best.
And not only that, have a plan to fill the void. I mean, you can't just drop a whole bunch of stuff and then not have a plan. So in other words, as you're dropping these PPOs, you've got to have a marketing plan in place. How are we going to replace these patients? Well, you better have a great marketing plan in place that you start right away, and you're getting more new patients that are cash paying patients or better indemnity insurance patients or something like that.
It's a fantastic point. Look, we've been super busy. We're dropping this PPO. We anticipate we won't be quite as busy. What can we do now to fill the schedule that we haven't been doing? Really good point.
And the worst thing somebody could do is like, we're going to start doing some marketing, and they just start haphazard different marketing things without really having a plan. And we see this so often, Rich. They just, I don't know, typically what will happen, they'll go to a dental conference, or they'll walk around an exhibit hall or talk to some kind of rep that comes in or something like that. And they're just like, it's a hit or miss marketing campaign. Well, that is ridiculous. It could be expensive. It can fail. You got to make sure if you're going to be doing marketing, do it right. Have a plan, have a budget, know what you're doing, know what your anticipated ROI is going to be, and do it the right way. And not to put in a shameless plug for what we do, but the total new patient plan, we've got like this it's a total plan altogether. We do everything for you. You might want to look into that. Just it's on our website somewhere, matto.com. Check it out. And again, we didn't even mean to plug it, but why not plug something that totally works and is totally well thought out?
I don't think that was a shameless plug at all. It was kind of it was a shameful plug.
But I think the most important thing is what we see is all the time, docs are mainly doing a hit or miss marketing, and that just does not work in the long run at all. Yeah, you might get a few new patients at the start, but it's not going to work long term.
Totally agree. And also, as we reinforce on every episode when we do our call of the week, you better make sure that your front desk team is incredibly good at turning every potential new patient on the phone into an actual patient in the practice. And maybe just honing that skill can get your schedule full again.
I'll tell you something. That was a really important comment. And it bears talking about for a couple seconds, because so many doctors out there are complaining about how they need more income. They need to be more successful. They need more new patients. And Rich, when we do these calls, and I want to make it very clear, we don't do 20 calls and then take the best of the best. We generally, every time we do a call, unfortunately, it's a bad call on the dental office's end. And what I'm trying to say is most doctors think that the person answering the phone in their office is an exception to the rule, and they're doing a great job. But I'm here to tell you, statistics really don't lie. And most front desk people need a lot of work, because just listen to our calls every week. You'll see what's happening in most dental offices across the United States.
Yep. So, and it's kind of circling back to what you called your shameless plug. Whether you use us for your marketing or someone else, or whatever you're doing, there's so many great avenues in there. You can do all the marketing in the world, and it stops at the front desk. You could have 50 incredibly qualified, cash-paying potential patients calling, and if they never get on the schedule, it doesn't do you any good.
Yeah, so let's just circle back to kind of like summarize the answer to this question. Do we know that the dental consultant did the right thing? Do we know that the dental consultant ran reports and really understood the mathematics behind suggesting dropping 2 PPOs? We don't know the answer, but you did drop them. Let's move on and do the right thing to get better patients in by marketing, by training your front desk. Again, it just comes down to basics. We're not reinventing the wheel. It comes down to these basic things that you need to be doing in your dental practice to be successful. Are you doing them?
Totally agree. And also, let's make another point too. People that are not, if people have a PPO that you don't accept, let's face it, most of them will not come to you, but some will. And the ones that do come to you for a reason, and they can be some of your best patients. So if you're about to drop a PPO and you're having a discussion with the patient about it, make it very clear they are welcome in your practice at any time. And should they leave your practice, still make it clear they didn't burn the bridge. They are absolutely, if they don't care for the practice they went to, they're absolutely welcome to come to your practice. You can work on financing. You can offer them a membership plan. There's so many great things that you can do. And same when somebody calls and says, "Are you on my plan?" you don't just say no and hang up on them. You let them know that we're not technically on your plan, but you can still come here. And this is how it will work if you do. And we'd love to have you, and we think you'll really see the difference. So again, most won't do it, but some will. And some will go to an office and get burned and then come back, thankfully. So just don't count them out automatically.
Right. And if you're listening to this and you're at a place where you can actually take notes, write down, we've talked about this before, write down the term, you are a non-restricted provider, which means, again, you're not technically on the list, but you can work with the company and get some benefits. So yeah, you always use that. We are non-restricted providers. You can come to us. You're welcome to come with us. We'll do the best we can.
Fantastic. All right. Great question. Thanks so much for writing in. What do you say? Speaking of front desk skills, let's do our call of the week. And this is not just any call of the week. This is a call of the week to one of the best dentists in the state. How do we know? How do we know they're one of the best dentists in the state? We're going to find out.
I'll tell you, before we do it, real quickly, I want to remind you that Rich and I are running these master classes for dentists. It's a small, intimate setting. We'd love to have you attend. It's a way to take your practice to the next level. And the best way to find out more about the master class and how the whole thing works is we set up actually a webpage for it. It's masterclass.maddo.com. Check it out. We've got all the information you would want. And if you need more, just get in touch with us. We'd love to see you at a future Maddo masterclass.
I got to say, the masterclass has been a turnaround day for so many dentists, the day that made a huge difference in their life. Don't you think?
No question about it.
Yep.
We are really helping dentists become more successful and happier in the practice of dentistry. We really are. We'd love you to have you join us at one.
You know, speaking of, there's things like the masterclass, they make a huge difference in your life. Other things, they make a small difference in your life, like saving a few $1,000s every month on your credit card processing. So please check out Fat Merchant. They will save you money on your credit card processing because they just charge a low monthly fee and no overage percentage. Check them out at bit.ly/ well, I'll spell it out because who knows how the heck to do that. It's bit.ly/FatMaddo. Fat's with two T's, so it's FATTMADOW. We worked out a special deal just for our Maddo listeners. You'll get a free processing terminal. You'll save money. Your patients won't know the difference. You won't know the difference except you'll lower your overhead. So again, Fat Merchant is the best way to process your credit cards. bit.ly/FATTMADOW. And now we teased you a little bit.
Hey, Rich.
Go ahead.
Rich, I'm going to make a really, really quick comment about Fat Merchant because, in the old days, when somebody said, hey, you got to change your credit card processing company, and it was a real hassle. There was nothing easy about it. It took a long time. There were tons of paperwork. These days, I'll tell you something. With Fat Merchant, you pretty much contact them. With pressing a few buttons, they can change you over to Fat Merchant. And there is just no reason why any dentist should not be using Fat Merchant. You said at the beginning of that little segment, save a few $1,000s a month. Who wouldn't want that? I would take a few $1,000s in my pocket every single month from here till the end of eternity.
And we use Fat Merchant at the Maddo Center. It's fantastic.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Good stuff.
So we kind of teased the call because we've got this call lined up, and we just noticed on this person's website it said they're one of the top dentists in the state. We have no idea what's about to happen, but let's find out. Ready?
Thank you for calling. This is Felicia. How can I help you?
Hey, Felicia. I saw on your website that you were ranked top dentist by Delaware Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what does that mean exactly?
You know what? Here, one moment.
It certainly doesn't mean you have the best on-hold messaging. Anyone home? Okay, this is literally over 1 minute of hold time. I'm watching the timer tick, tick.
Hi, sorry. Okay, so I'm sorry. It looks like we were just awarded that for being one of the top dentistries in the state.
One of the top dentistries in the state? Like based on, do you know, I'm not trying to be a wise guy. I'm just wondering like what the criteria was for that. Do you have any idea?
I personally am not sure. I'm positive. I'm not sure. I'm sorry.
Oh, so do you think it's one of the top dentistries in the state?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're a great dentistry.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay, bye. Wow, so many things to say about that, but they're one of the top dentistries in the state. They really are.
How do you get to be one of the top dentistries?
I think first of all, you have to put people on hold for a long time.
Let me tell you something. I was when we were on hold for like what, a minute?
Over a minute.
Over a minute. I was just picturing like, what are they doing? Or did she go up to? Did they have like a big huddle and they're trying to figure out how to answer the question? Like, what was going on?
You know, it's funny, Dave. I was thinking the same thing. Like, is she getting coached on this? But then she came back and all she could say was, "Yeah, I think we're one of the top dentistries in the state."
That call was unbelievable.
Plus, she was getting like 5 texts during the call. Did you hear that text tone that kept ringing?
Yes. Yeah, I was wondering where that thing was coming from too. So that the texts were coming through. She didn't know what was going on. I'll tell you something though. I mean, I don't really know much about the award they got, but she could have really played that thing up and made themselves sound really good. But she turned it into a call that made it sound like she just didn't know what was going on. And using the term "we're one of the top dentistries," that didn't give me a whole lot of confidence in that practice.
But you made a really good point. We always love to teach front desk team members to brag about the office a little bit. Could there have been a better chance to brag? Oh, yeah, we've been voted one of the top dental practices in the state, and Dr. Jones is such a fantastic dentist, and he's gentle, and the smiles that we produce just look beautiful. We're changing people's lives every day, and we're just so flattered that we won this award. Just anything. Jeez.
Well, unless the thing was totally bogus and like you busted her and then she just didn't know what to say because maybe there was really no vote. Who's voting for this anyway? Like, where does this vote come from?
Well, you know,
or other dental practices voting for this?
I know here in Baltimore, there's a magazine called Baltimore Magazine, and they have the top dentist issue, and it's actually voting by peers. I've been asked many times to vote for top dentist in all the different specialties and GPs for Baltimore Magazine. So, of course, there's a lot of politics, and who knows, and it seems like the dentists who throw full-page ads in the magazine seem to do a little bit better in the voting.
They're always the top dentistry.
Right. Look in those airline magazines. They've got, top plastic surgeons in the country. Who was that? The person that writes a check, I always thought.
I think it must be.
Nevertheless, it looks good for patients if your reception area has plaques showing that you're the top dentist in the state, and on your website it says voted the top dentist in the state. It looks great. So be able to speak intelligently on it.
Yeah, I mean, I think she answered the phone. I think it sounded like they were in Delaware somewhere. And if it truly was like in some type of Delaware magazine and they were voted one of the top dentistries, they should all the team members should know about it. She should have at least been able to say, yes, we're so proud. Delaware Magazine voted us one of the top dental offices in the state, and we are so proud of the smiles. But the whole they should at least know it.
She knew nothing.
Nothing. Nada. Nothing.
But
zero.
I just have to keep going back to that. She said we're one of the top dentistries. That was just great.
And to add insult to injury, did she try to get an appointment? Nothing happened.
Nothing.
The call went nowhere.
Sir, if you come in, we'll show you exactly why we're one of the top dentistries in the state. Let's get you on the schedule right now.
Right now.
You'll come right now.
Oh, my God. I'm telling you. Again, I just want to reinforce that, doctor, if you're listening to this and you think that these are all exceptions to the rule and your front desk people are just the absolute best. I mean, maybe yours are. I don't know the answer. But, again, we just don't make any calls that go perfectly. It just doesn't happen. So, please, our goal. We want anybody answering the phone in the dental office to be great and perfect and get the appointment. But it's just, we're working on that. It's just not happening yet, guys.
And please don't put somebody on hold for a minute and a half. And if you have to put somebody on hold, which, let's face it, happens from time to time, at least have something playing. We love having customized messages playing that tell how great your office is. But, geez, at least some nice soothing music or something so they don't think you hung up on them. Wow.
I mean, maybe Breakfast with the Beatles or something.
That would be perfect.
Rich, that was a great call.
All right. Well, keep them coming. So that will give us something to look forward to on episode 6. But this was episode 5, season 2 of the Dental Practice Fixers podcast. Thanks, everybody, for listening. I'm Dr. Richard Maddow, here with my co-host, business partner, and cohort, Dr. David Maddow. Thanks so much, everybody, and we will see you next time.
See you later.